Joining me now for a new look panel are US commentators, Sky News host James Morrow and Recastled CEO Kosha Gada. Guys, let's start with the White House Correspondents' dinner and Joe Biden's reaction to this joke.
Ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
James, the Republicans could use that in a commercial for the midterms. Fancy having the president sit there laughing his head off about something that is causing genuine pain to so many people.
In a luxury hotel, in a luxury ballroom, wearing a dinner suit, eating fine foods, it's a real let them eat cake moment, don't you think, Rita? I mean, yeah, absolutely. It is a complete commercial for the Republicans going into November. It shows how utterly out of touch this guy is. But also, it's funny, though. It is funny that the cracks are starting to appear in the invincibility of Joe Biden, that nobody could make fun of him. You know, now they're not making fun of Trump anymore. They're actually saying, no, Joe, you're screwing this up 6 ways from Sunday here. You got a big problem in November. Listen to us. It's not actually a joke.
It's not, but he doesn't seem to appreciate the trouble the Democrats are in, Kosha, because he is talking about excusing student debt, something that's going to benefit some of the better offs in society, and have essentially people who didn't go to college and couldn't afford to go to college subsidising those who did go.
Yes, I think this clip and all those things that he's doing, such as the college debt, is not going to age well. It is definitely fodder for the midterms and everything else. And I think, look, there's two schools of thought here where one is it's nice to be able to laugh at ourselves, and self-deprecation is maybe a good trait, and he's sort of playing in that world. But the other school of thought is that people are just there's a growing percentage of people that are just really, really dissatisfied and angry with all these policies that, frankly, have been leading up to, you know, over the last 30 to 40 years and are just amplified under Biden, and sort of this transfer of wealth and inflation at a 37-year high and the shrinking middle class and the culture wars and all of that. So it is a little bit tone deaf to do these things for sure.
Absolutely. And staying with the Biden administration, let's meet the head of their Ministry of Truth, Nina Jankowicz.
Information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain. They're laundering disinfo, and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice, or vote.
Oh gosh, that was
Rita,
I'm sorry. I mean, I had to play it.
No. This was my fault.
She's the disinfo boss.
This is my fault, Rita. I sent in this clip. I said we should talk about it. I listened to it early this afternoon. I've had it in my head all afternoon now. And of course, now what we've got here in this case in the United States, where essentially the theater kids from high school have gone and put on a production of 1984, where they're going to be singing these little jingles as they go around and enforce their new censorship policies to make sure that nobody is spreading misinformation.
But Kosha, this whole scheme is just so deeply sinister and Orwellian. And this particular Disinfo chief, who we just saw singing there, she's been guilty of repeatedly putting out disinfo herself, including about Hunter Biden's laptop.
Yes, I think since this new measure was announced and her name was put out there, she has not been having a good week. So some of it is, yes, she called the Hunter Biden laptop, which has been verified as being true, whether it was relevant or not. She called it disinformation. She also consulted for the government of Ukraine on various communication strategies in other Eastern European countries. So there's that. And then also the optics. I think, you know, the singing, there was sort of a Harry Potter rock band video that surfaced and all of that. You know, it's hard to sort of take the person seriously, even though the actual thing over here the Biden administration is doing is very, very serious, and it is sort of an expansion of power and censorship is a tool for the consolidation, of power away from the people and freedom of speech.
It is a ministry of truth. You've got a government agency telling you what's real, what isn't, and we've seen in the past 2 years so much that they told us wasn't real ended up being real, whether we're talking about the lab leak theory or whether we're talking about the Hunter Biden laptop, the whole Russian conspiracy theory we were fed for 4.5 years. I could go on.